welcome everyone to the live edition of The Distraction. I apologize for the delay as we stared blankly into things because I did not know if this is working at all, and I hope it's actually working. I am Jeremy Lambert, joined by Joe Hulbert. Joe, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm very happy because I can confirm via the power of my iPhone that we are in fact live, pal.
Oh my
I'm very
God.
excited. We are live. This is the first of an annual tradition, the trade deadline show. We could also do free agency, but I'm going to leave that until July, Jeremy. You can chill for now. This will be the last of lives. Enjoy them for now. This is a big occasion, Jeremy. I'm very excited to talk about basketball. Apparently, you want to talk about wrestling, which we can do a little bit of if you must. But yes, very good. Very big day for us, you know.
We did the NBA draft podcast with Sean and I, and I apologize, I forgot his name, but he's another North Carolina guy from Knockdown Media, and it did big numbers. Bull, big draw on the NBA draft podcast.
Well, that's how, as you know, and this has become our trademark, is big numbers is what we kind of look into. We're here to be an attraction. We're a big deal. We know that. Everyone knows that who talks to me on the streets about the show. So, I've been walking around, people said, "Are you going to go live? Are you going to go live?" I said, "Of course we're going to go live. That's what the people want. That's what we're going to do." So I said to you well in advance, Jeremy, I said, let's go live. It was well in advance, wasn't it? It was last week. And here we are. We're waiting for big news. We're waiting for this Chris Paul to Sixers trade for Al Horford's corpse. And I'm very excited.
I've been told I have an echo on my mic, so hopefully it's fixed a little bit right now as I changed my settings. And if it's not, I don't know what I can do about that.
I don't know either because you've got no echo for me. So yeah,
as long as you can hear me, nobody else is listening to this, I don't think.
No, I mean, why would they? It's an NBA trade deadline show live on a professional wrestling YouTube channel.
Let's get into this and try to not talk so much tech stuff. Yeah, we set up this live episode last week, not at 8 o'clock this morning when you decided to message me and said, let's go live. And I completely freaked out. The Distraction, we usually talk, we talk a little bit of basketball, but we set 5 minutes on the clock and we just talk about that topic for 5 minutes. We go a little bit over and then we move on to the next topic. It's a free-for-all today.
Yes.
Joe. It is a complete free-for-all. We are looking at the NBA trade deadline. We're going to keep up with that. If you see me turning my attention to elsewhere, it's because I'm looking at the TV to see if any big trades have broken so we can discuss it. I apologize, everyone, for the echo. I don't know what I can do about that. I've tried to change my microphone settings to where they used to be on the podcast, and I don't think there's been any echo previously on the podcast, so I'm not sure what I can do about this echo. Anyway, what wrestling are we talking about, Joe?
We're talking about all the wrestling, Jeremy. I don't know. Where do you want to start? Would you like to start on the Wednesday Night Wars? Or would you like to go...
Sure, we can talk Wednesday Night Wars. What would you like to discuss from there? Do you want to talk about Cody getting his lashings?
Yes.
Big topic.
You told me this was polarizing, right?
The timeline was very divided on this because there's the obvious allusions to slavery and being Black History Month in February and stuff, and so a lot of people were upset about that, but I thought it was a good angle. It's a pro wrestling angle. There was also the Cody being Jesus Christ, MJF being a Jewish man, so there was. Look, you can turn this into anything you want, Joe.
Yeah,
I thought it was just a good wrestling angle.
I thought it was a great wrestling angle. I loved when I thought Dustin Rhodes was the highlight of this whole segment, which is amazing because Cody and MJF were great, but there was true agony on his face, right? When he came out and said, "I would take the rest of them." Man, this is really good. I don't know what the perception is as far as what was the best show this Wednesday, but this angle was definitely the headline. I guess Velveteen Dream coming back was a big deal. Maybe. But this was the headline, I thought. AEW is can we say it's found its niche, its balance? Can we say they've done that now? Or is it still Is it still not there for you? I think it has.
No, I think it has. I think look, that Dark Order segment to close 2019 was a huge miss, and apparently Tony Khan was like, all right, I'm taking things over now, and we're going to get back on track. And I think just about every episode in 2020 has done that. There've still been some issues, but I think overall it's been much better.
I agree. I think obviously we've spoken about this before when we talk about my faves and all that good stuff, but the Hangman Page business is the best. Like, MJF and Cody, you kind of know that stuff's going to be good. Same with Mox and Jericho. It's hard to really go wrong because like they're really dynamic characters. They're great performers. You put them together and it's they're inspired and they're doing good stuff. But the Hangman Page stuff is interesting because I think when we started this pod, it was because like we kind of expected it would lead to a heel turn, right, for Page. I don't think you can do that heel turn anymore, man. He's like the biggest babyface on the show. That's the only interesting. How are they going to get to a split or a match with Omega without turning one of them? Or do they just turn him and make sure none of us care?
Yeah, I don't think you can turn Hangman Page at this point. It's so organic and he's so over. I mean, a guy who drinks beer a lot is very appealing to a wrestling audience, I guess.
He is?
Yeah.
Is that a Sandman reference? I can't think of any other famous wrestler, there was no other ones, right? None in the
I don't know if you're being sarcastic.
Yeah, no, I'm not, man. I remember Stunning Steve, but I don't know what came of him.
Stunning Steve was a big beer drinker. I legitimately didn't even think of like, oh yeah, people in the past have just drinking beer. I kind of just grouped wrestling fans as, wrestling fans probably like to drink a lot of beer.
Okay, yeah, true. I mean, it was like, it was a pretty big deal when Steve Austin drank the beer, but I understand that was a bit of an old reference. Usually we're more timely than that these days on the podcast. I referenced Psycho last week, a 1960 thriller, so I understand why it caught you off guard. But what else was on this show? Was there anything else of note on this show?
There was no Luther. That's a
I have something to talk about. The Luther thing's a big deal. If you'd like to get upset about that, you can.
What are we getting upset about? The fact that there was just no Luther?
Yeah, that's the... Of course, that's the biggest travesty of all. Why is he not in the opening segment, closing match? I don't understand.
Yeah, well, he had to cut Sean Ross Sapp's hair, and that broke up the Nightmare Collective. I mean, Brandy was out there during the Cody segment, and she was not an evil witch. So I don't think the Nightmare Collective. What happened to the
Nightmare Collective?
I don't think they're done.
Okay.
But Awesome Kong got kicked out.
When?
On AEW Dark. Do you not watch the product?
Oh, come on, man. That's disrespectful. You drop an AEW Dark scoop on me. This is ridiculous behaviour. They did an angle on AEW Dark.
They did do an angle on AEW Dark that got Awesome Kong kicked out of the Nightmare Collective.
This isn't Luther's fault, is it? Because I don't want it to be.
It's not. It's Sean's fault. His hair divided them.
I can't believe... So there is a chance that we just don't see the Nightmare Collective again, I feel.
Look, that would be a travesty.
It would, right? That'd be terrible.
Proportions, because we've got to have Luther. I have so many ideas for Luther.
Yes, I'm aware. I'm very excited. I'm very excited too. But one thing I will say, a lot of people are upset about the Brandy thing. That's like just modern wrestling storytelling. There's like layers to the reality, right? And when there's a really serious angle, oh my goodness, what's happening here? Nix, Marcus Morris, Mo Harkless. My God.
So Marcus Morris, is that official? He's going to the Clippers?
Shams has got it, finalising it. They're finalising it, Jeremy. They're finalising it.
Shams scooped Woj on that.
He's done him again.
That's why they haven't hit the button on the ESPN
made a four of him. He's made a four of him live on the distraction. What was he talking about? Luther. Yeah, Luther's good. I see it. Okay. So there's layers to the reality. So when there's a really serious angle, they confirm it's serious by having someone break character to get over. This is a modern thing, right? NXT does it a lot. It's listen, man, all that cutting people's hair stuff's fun and all, but when it gets to this is different level. Come out and help your husband. This is more important than that. But I do have something interesting to say about AEW. Not that the last 10 minutes have been anything but Santana's promo. This was a big step forward because in Impact, is ready for this? I'm going to bring out my Impact knowledge, Jeremy. You ready? In Impact, this team was not just they have cool matches. Santana was an awesome character in Impact, dude. Like as the spokesperson for the team and the guy who had to kind of step up and speak back to Conan or Kingston or whoever it would be. He was awesome in that role. So it was great when he snatched the mic from Jericho and he had like his moment. That was great. I thought all that stuff was good.
They're calling it an eye for an eye match with him and Moxley.
Oh my goodness. Is that more or less exciting than the fist fight with the Big Show?
Oh, but like, what is an eye for an eye match though? They're already both partially blind. So is that what it is? Like,
yeah,
they're both just partially blind and they're gonna wrestle. Like, all right, we've seen Moxley with one eye wrestle. It doesn't really change a whole lot. But I think the loser should have their other eye stabbed, and then they just have to go blind.
Yeah, but that would be an interesting investment as a wrestling company, right? Like just booking a match to destroy the eyesight of one of your wrestlers.
Yeah. I mean, you've already destroyed one eye of Moxley, one eye for Santana. If you're going to do an eye for an eye match, then the other eye has to be taken out. And then they can run a blind angle where I assume Santana... Maybe Moxley loses, and then Moxley goes into the AEW Revolution bout against Jericho, and he's blind. And we get the first ever blind world champion. I don't know if it's first ever, but that's what we're rolling with.
You covered your traces there with the first ever. I like that. You didn't want to be getting a DM from someone who won a world title as a blind person on some independent. You know, that would have been terrible for the brand, wouldn't it? Yes, the distraction.
Exactly.
I prefer AEW to NXT every single week, and to the point where I actually start to feel bad about it because I don't know why. I have no clue why this happened. I would never have predicted it.
Back though, Joe.
I know. I think the NXT roster is better. I'm pretty sure the matches are much better, but like I enjoy AEW more for reasons I'm still not quite sure of, and it may be that I am co-opted without realising it.
Is that Tony Khan check in the mail?
I mean, Jim Ross once again called Penelope Ford a Jezebel. That might be the reason. Is that cancelled, Jeremy? Is Jezebel a bad word now?
I believe so.
I saw some talk. People upset with Jim, and I want anyone to know if you're watching this and you were upset with Jezebel being used by Jim Ross, man, you're missing out on the best part of the show, in my opinion, because I thought it was just tremendous. I enjoyed that match too. I'm enjoying things I really have no interest in entering them. That's just where I'm at with AEW. So maybe I'm co-opted. Maybe the check's in the mail. However, you know what show it's not as good as?
What's that?
Monday Night Raw, which is back to its best.
Heyman is completely he's completely transformed Raw. I enjoy Raw. It doesn't feel like it's a chore anymore.
Yes.
Like it's 3 hours, but it does not feel like a chore like it used to be.
The Oscars are coming up, right? Ready for another reference? Big reference. Paul Heyman is professional wrestling's Quentin Tarantino.
I don't know who that is.
Wow, bold. Okay, well that throws me off a little bit, but you accept the quirks, okay? You accept, sometimes a little odd. He's a strange guy sometimes. Maybe the love triangle stuff is a little bit weird, but when he gets it right, all you can do is just sit back and say, he's done it again, It was, if you can get, I said this I think last week, but it's the truth. If you can get Tommy Dreamer and Sandman across as major babyface stars, then Drew McIntyre is just a home run. and then in 1 month, Drew McIntyre has got more momentum than he had captured in like 6 cumulative years of WWE booking. And that's the way it should be, Raw's great. I love it.
It's a very strong show. The Drew McIntyre stuff is very good. I liked Rhea Ripley coming out and essentially setting up that match for WrestleMania. The Becky Lynch stuff right now probably not as good as it could be, because Becky Lynch was the biggest star this time last year, and now it just feels like she doesn't have a whole lot going on. The sooner they can just get Shayna up there and get that whole thing going, the better.
Do you think, I'm assuming that there's a chamber match coming for the Raw women. Do you think I'm off base here?
No, they've got to set up the challenger in some way or another, and the chamber match would make the most sense. Then I don't know how you're setting up the challenger for SmackDown. So you're thinking do a Raw chamber with just the contenders to set up the Mania match, right? Is that what you're saying? What were you thinking?
Well, I was thinking have Becky defend it in the chamber, and then like Shayna, you set that after. That's what I was thinking.
Oh,
but either works.
Do they have? like if you do the Roll Chamber, I'm spinning my wheels in my head here. If you do the Roll
You're counting
Chamber
to 6 here, right?
for the challengers, you do the Roll Chamber for the challengers. Like you have Becky, you have Asuka. I guess you do Kyrie. Who else do you put? Ruby and Liv. Like, is that who you're putting in there for?
Sarah Logan.
She's there. Sarah
Natalia.
Logan. Oh, I forgot Natalia.
No, like SmackDown's division is clearly set up for a chamber match, but I think they're going to just do the Naomi Bailey deal, right? That's what it feels like. So
yeah, but is that Mania? I don't know if they're stretching that until Mania.
No, they're not. No, they're definitely not.
I hope. Like, I think it'd be great if they did. I think that's a great feud, but I don't think they are.
I mean, this is the thing with SmackDown's interesting is he's like
Cleveland is getting Detroit's Andre Drummond.
Wow, that's a legitimate bomb, and I have not got it.
That's a Woj bomb. This is
Oh,
the distraction,
damn.
ladies and gentlemen. Andre Drummond going to Cleveland.
They're going to pay him all the money in the summer. This is going to rule, man. Oh, this is wonderful. This is why we had to be live. That's delightful. I love it.
What a deal that is. That's going to help their defense in a big way, let me tell you.
That's mean.
I watched Cleveland last night. They played OKC. That's a team that doesn't play a whole lot of defense.
No, that's an incredible team to watch. Him and Kevin Love as a front court, energy-wise, could be one of the most incredible things to watch in league history, in my opinion.
They're gonna get a lot of rebounds. Kevin Love
sure
is a
will.
rebounder, and I mean, they're gonna have a lot of shots to rebound. So
it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great fun to watch. Can't wait. Wrestling. Oh yeah. So like SmackDown hinges on the Sasha Banks thing, right? That's the truth.
Yeah, Sasha.
Where is Sasha Banks, Jeremy? Do you know?
Sasha was on After the Bell with Corey Graves today, giving the storyline line that her ankle is still hurt, and she said she's 100%, but she needs to be 125% before she can wrestle. And so she says she can barely walk. She's 100% but can barely walk, which I don't know what she'd be like if she was like 95%. That seems tough.
Do we have any idea what's actually the situation is there? Like, do we have any clue whatsoever?
No, she's just not cleared. Sean reported at the Royal Rumble that she just wasn't cleared. So the Pistons are getting Brandon Knight, John Henson. Yeah. Look, I told you that the format is out the window for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. My teasers did not lie, just like Joe's hips will not lie.
That is the funniest thing, man. You was in the middle of talking about Sasha Banks' injury. Wow, incredible.
The Pistons are getting Brandon Knight, John Henson, and a second-round pick. That doesn't seem like a lot for Andre Drummond.
I mean, sure. I don't know. I wouldn't have wanted to extend him in the summer, so I'd have traded him for anything too. Yeah, it's weird
that's fair.
I guess Atlanta got Capella, so they was initially the team, weren't they?
Yeah, Atlanta was going after Drummond. They were also linked to Steven Adams, which hopefully that doesn't happen. I mean, it's not going to happen now, but hopefully Adams doesn't go anywhere. Period.
Hang on a sec. Okay, yeah. I thought my notifications just exploded there. I thought it was just Drummond. Don't worry. Yes, I assume. To be honest with you, man, the SmackDown Women's title match is probably just going to be like a six-pack challenge or something. I'm just going to be honest with you, Jeremy. I know it's going to disappoint you, but it's the truth, all right? It's probably going to be like a multi-woman bonanza.
Yeah, I think if Bayley or if Sasha isn't ready and they can't, because that's an angle that you shouldn't rush. Like I mean, it feels like they've been building to it. Remember they were supposed to wrestle last year at WrestleMania. But
year before that.
Yeah. It seems like they've been building for it for 2 years, and then I'm saying don't rush it. But it really is something that you should not rush, because that's a big match, and you can't just throw it together like, okay, she's finally cleared, let's do the match now with 2 weeks notice.
I do wonder a little bit if we're doing the wrestling fan thing of we've convinced ourselves of saying it's not true. There's a part of me that just feels like if we just did that match at WrestleMania, people would be like, okay, that's cool. I don't know we do this sometimes. We fool ourselves and pretend these matches are bigger deals than they are, but maybe it would be. It would be big on Twitter, definitely. Twitter would be very excited, but I don't know how much, in hour 5 of WrestleMania when Bayley comes out, I don't know if the WrestleMania crowds are like, yeah, here we go, we're ready. I don't know if that's the case, but yeah, it's a big deal. It's the biggest match on SmackDown anyway. Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, are you in or are you out?
I'm a fan of that. I think Charlotte is great. And Rhea has. Oh, you seem surprised that I
No,
think Charlotte
I
is
actually
great.
agree, but
Okay.
this is a wrestling podcast, and like both of us like Charlotte Flair. Like, what are we doing here? Are we trying to build an audience here? What are we doing?
And Rhea has been on. They rocket strapped her at
She's a
the.
fave.
Yeah. So I'm all for that, and it's something new. It's not Charlotte and Becky for the 100th time. It's not Charlotte and Bayley for the 100th time. Like, this is a fresh matchup as well.
Would you add Bianca or no?
I wouldn't be mad if they did, because I'm a big believer that Bianca is ready to be the face of the division, and it seems like they're putting others ahead of her, right or wrong. And so I'm just wondering when that time is going to come. You add it to her here for WrestleMania. I mean, that's the stage for her. She's going to shine.
It is very interesting that, right? Like, the kind of the power struggle between like all of the NXT women that we think are headed for big things, like how they're gonna transition from the horsewomen era to them. Like, how do they do that? Do they do it slowly? Because Rhea Ripley is already wrestling at WrestleMania against Charlotte, so like they're on track. They're on the road to doing this push. Like, they're not just going to slow it down so they can do more with like the current crop. There's a shift here that's going to happen at some point, I feel, which is weird because like I'm pretty sure Bianca's older in actual age. I think she's older than Sasha, maybe Bayley. I feel so. I don't know. It's a strange situation in that sense, dude. I think she is, but I mean I'm probably wrong. Let's be honest. But,
I'm going to look this up. I do not know the age of Bianca Belair, but I don't feel like she's that old.
I think she's older than we've realised because she's like a wrestling newcomer, basically, is what I'm saying.
She is 30 years old. I mean, that's not old by any
No, it's not old.
imagination. No. I mean,
no.
if 30 is old, then I'm old as well.
But I think Sasha's still in her 20s.
Yeah,
Sasha's
28. So yeah.
It's like it doesn't really matter because obviously wrestling years she's way younger because just the level of matches and stuff. But it's just interesting. I just think at some point they're gonna have to make the shift. Rhea Ripley is just legitimately very young. She's probably gonna win every match in wrestling history for the next 20 years. Are you ready for that? Because I am.
Poor Chris Haynes, like 5 minutes after Woj and Shams tweeted about the Andre Drummond trade, is like, oh yeah, league sources confirmed to Yahoo that this trade is happening.
I'm sure he's replying very calm about that. I'm sure they're not. I haven't even got notifications on Chris Haynes. I'm sorry, I know that's disrespectful, but I just haven't. I feel we've got another big deal coming here,
There's still over a half hour left, and deals can. There was 1 year where, like 5 minutes after the deadline, every point guard in the league got traded. It was the same time that was the Reggie Jackson. OKC traded Reggie Jackson to Detroit, and they got that was the Enes Kanter trade, and like every point guard. I think Eric Bledsoe got dealt. There was like 4 or 5 different point guards that got traded, and it was like 5-10 minutes after the deadline.
Are you expecting any business here at home, OKC? Are you expecting a Gallinari? Are you expecting Chris Paul's staying? Right, that's not happening.
Yeah. OKC's in a position of power because the team is somehow good and they're fun. Like they're the 6th seed in the West right now. Nobody saw that coming. And
how many games off Houston are you?
They're within like 2 games of the 4 seed. The top 3 are kind of set with the 2 LA teams in Denver, but after that it gets muddied with Utah, Houston, OKC, and Dallas, and they're all within 2 games of each other. So they could legitimately get to the 4 seed. I don't suspect that'll happen, but it's not out of the realm of possibility.
If Gallinari stays, it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. We'll talk about Houston in depth, but we do have to do a little bit more wrestling talk, I feel, because...
We're going to talk about the Fed dying. That's in our big teaser.
I mean...
We deliver on everything in our teaser, Joe.
We definitely don't, and I'm avoiding the topic of the Fed dying because it's very sad, right? I watched the Lonely Road of Faith video montage 15 times before we went live, and I was just thinking about all the glory days, all the great times, the stock report. The end is near. We know that. I'm happy for Billy Corgan that he's taken over wrestling. I don't know, man. What do you want me to say? It's a tragedy, right? We've lost the leader in the industry,
What's your favorite moment from the Fed?
Definitely when... after she'd won the women's title at SummerSlam, Sasha Banks came out on Raw, and Alexa Bliss was like, "You're a loser. You'll always be a loser." And even me, James Johnson traded for Gorgie Deng.
That's a
Big
move.
Big move. She came out and she was like, "You're a loser. You'll always be a loser." And I just, I remember thinking, well, this is probably means Sasha's going to win this match that they have. She's going to defend the title, and then Alexa just DDT'd her and won. It's one of the best moments in the history of sport. Like, I believe, Jeremy, okay, what year are we in now? 2020? I suspect 2038 I'll be making an ESPN 30 for 30 just about that match. That's what I suspect.
Just about Alexa Bliss calling Sasha Banks a loser in their subsequent match.
Yeah, and then just proving that she was in fact a loser. That was an incredible victory. Like that would be what I remember when I attend the World Wrestling Federation's funeral. I will be standing there thinking of that DDT, and the stunned silence that came across the arena that night.
I mean, the funeral is next week, isn't it?
Yes, of course. Yeah, what about you? What's your favourite moment? Is it when King Mabel won the King of the Ring? He wasn't king though when he won it. He became a king by winning there. Yeah, carry on.
It's when Brock Lesnar returned and kicked John Cena's hat.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That was an actual good answer, but I don't think it resonated to the degree that the Sasha and Alexa one did.
Sasha Banks being a loser, not as big of a deal as John Cena's hat.
Yeah, because it was like a game changer, But I understand what you're saying. I feel the majority would agree with you, but
look where Brock has come. I mean, since then, Brock's been untouchable. Since then, he completely changed the business when he kicked that hat.
He did lose to Triple H though, which is amazing.
He lost the match to John Cena right after that at Extreme Rules.
And I understood that in principle of it's weird, right? The first couple of years when Brock came back, it took them a while to decide, okay, he's just going to be champ forever and never lose, right? He lost to Cena, and then he had a 12-year feud with Triple H in which he lost the match. And then at some point they were just like, okay, he's here to stay. We might as well just make him Brock Lesnar again. It's fun. I mean, he has been in this role now for legitimately about 6 years though, which I feel was a little bit long. But I still enjoy it. You still enjoy it. I know you like it a lot, right?
Brock Lesnar is the best thing about Raw. I mean, we just got done praising Raw, and now we didn't even mention the absolute best thing about Raw.
I mean, there's a lot of good stuff on Raw. Mojo Rawley has Riddick Moss. That's one of the best
offensive linemen. I want Mojo to build a whole team like that. Maybe that's the best moment. Is Riddick Moss being the offensive lineman? Best moment in Fed history.
That's up there for sure. Speaking of good moments, was you excited for Ruby Riot's return this week?
I missed it live because I had a dinner obligation, but I am excited that Ruby Riot is back. Big fan of Ruby Riot, and I thought the turn was kind of telegraphed though.
Yeah, it was. I mean, at some point, and this is not an issue with this particular thing, I get it totally. Ruby Riot's great, but they are going to have to start putting some of these women together for tag teams at some point, right? I assume that at some point someone's going to go, man, maybe we should just pair two women and make them a team, because there's only so many times you can watch the same tag matches, and I thought Ruby and Liv as a babyface team would have been fun. But Ruby, I guess, what do you think? Is her ceiling higher as a heel or babyface in WWE?
Do they have any women's tag teams on Raw besides the actual champions?
No.
Maybe Ruby and Lana are going to be a tag team now. And then Liv can get Sarah Logan, and I mean this is how you kick off reestablish the women's tag team division.
Cool.
Liv and Sarah, Ruby and Lana, Natalya and somebody.
Yeah, you've had better ideas, I think, than that, but this was certainly an idea. I don't know. I mean, I have to give some credit on this, because none of us like the angle and we'll whine about it, but this Lana thing has got Liv over to an extent, right? It has actually worked to some degree. People made noise and stuff during that match on Monday.
People made noise during the Liv and Lana match?
Yeah, it wasn't total side. When Liv won, people were people cheered a little bit.
They main evented the previous week, and then they were on the first match on the show this week.
Yeah. Yeah, but that just shows their versatility,
Wait,
Has anyone watched both matches one after the other to ensure that they wasn't the exact same match? Because I'm not convinced. They may have been the exact same match.
was it
Either
ever,
like literally or just layout wise.
was it ever really explained of like them being lovers? Like they never really dived into that.
No, why would you explain it or give any sort of detail to it when you could just get like a Twitter explosion for just one sentence and then just never go back to it, never reference it again?
Yeah,
it was great. That's what wrestling's for, you know?
People were very worried that they weren't going to do this angle justice, and then they just decided, well, we're just not really going to do this angle at all.
The thing that's great about that is you know that in that debate there were some people that were like, man, they've changed now. Like they're going to treat this with some real respect and dignity and like as if they were ever going to talk about it again. It's just an excuse to enter Liv in this. I don't know how long. Like Liv went out and she kind of had some. Oh God, this is my phone's very scary on trade deadline. This is very very scary. You know, I feel like whoa. Do you know when the texts are going? Liv went home and she was like they changing her character and all that business. How long before she came back do you think they knew this was where it was going to be? Because I legitimately think it was about 2 days.
That might be giving them too much credit on 2 days. Like they ran those vignettes of Liv Morgan makeover, and I was like, all right, well, where is this leading to? And then she just came out during the wedding, and it's like, okay, she has been made over, but what was the purpose of all of this?
Yeah, it's bad. You know what wasn't bad though? I know this is a topic, so I'm gonna link this for us here, Jeremy. The NWA is, as we know, saving professional wrestling, and this week's Power. Last week we was talking. This is where we get carried away. We were sitting there. Nick Aldis is the best talker in wrestling. We spoke for 20 minutes, and Eddie Kingston was like, "Hey, listen, Nick Aldis did a good segment over 11 minutes. Give me 60 seconds, and I'll tell you the best talker is." This promo ruled, man. How good was this promo?
It was Eddie Kingston has been very underrated for many years. I remember watching him in ROH when he was doing the Last of the Dying Breed stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like the promos back then were always something completely different than what you would see elsewhere. And he just, for one reason or another, like never got a big shot. Like he was in Impact with the feud with LAX and stuff, and was very good in that role as well.
He deserved better from that run.
Yeah.
That was crazy. How did he get brought in as like an actual television character, like an actual real one on a wrestling show? He came in, he was awesome, he delivered, he nailed it, and then like he just was gone. And I understand the character had kind of reached its like the peak of its arc, I guess, but man, he deserved better from that run. But you're right, definitely. There's a lot of wrestling is art talk these days. You told me 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, the business has changed. But like Eddie Kingston is a legit artist, right? Like for like 15 years now, longer than that. Dude's really made people care about him, and he hasn't always had the backing. In fact, he's very rarely had any kind of backing. But people care, man. He gets emotion out of him. In this minute, you laugh, then you get like the fire and the anger, and then you get sympathetic towards him. He elevated Homicide just by the way he spoke about him. He elevated Pope's like heel character by pointing out how much of a dick he was. And then by the end of it, you just love Eddie Kingston. This was so good, so good. And this is what when we talk about NWA and what it can be, this is it, man. Just a talent like that is perfect for this format. He's so perfect for it. And I hope they don't. I thought they'd fumbled this angle a little before that segment, because they'd made it like this weird where they acted like we'd seen it. I don't think we had. But man, one segment, that was all it needed. And Pope was great too. We shouldn't forget Pope. But yeah. Eddie Kingston is awesome.
I was worried that Eddie Kingston wouldn't really fit with the NWA, because it doesn't seem like he doesn't seem like the kind of character you would think they would go for. Like him in that studio setting to me feels kind of weird. Like I don't know. Like it seems like they kind of go with kind of larger than life sort of characters, or kind of more hokey characters. And Eddie Kingston is like really neither of that to me. He's very like straightforward and almost has a thug personality, I guess. I don't know, hopefully I could say that. And like it just didn't seem like it would fit with the NWA style, but he's such a good talker that it completely works for him.
I think he's changed for NWA purposes. I think he has changed his style a slight amount, I think. But I don't know, because I'm not really in a position to tell you what influences he's taken for his promos. But I will say, legitimately, like we were talking about Nick Aldis last week, I don't know if there's anyone better than Eddie, man, at talking me into a match. I think he might be. Like, I'm all in on this. This situation with Homicide and the Dawsons is like, this is my main wrestling fault this week. That's the art, right? Like, there's so many good matches each week. You know, AEW and NXT have a combined 10 great matches every week. But that actually gripped me. I actually couldn't wait to see. Like, I hope they don't do a turn. Do you feel they're going to do a turn? I don't know if you know spoilers. If you do, don't tell me live on air. But do you think they're going to do a turn here where Eddie, like, does go with Pope and betrays his pal Homicide? I hope not.
I have read the spoilers.
Oh, no.
So I'm not going to,
oh, no.
to say anything.
Oh,
take
dear.
that what you will. I don't want to spoil anything for you, Joe. I want you to be surprised if there is a turn. I want you to be surprised if there isn't a turn. So,
okay, that's very scary. That's very, very scary. But yeah, it was a great promo. Well, that's what I will say. NWA, the other thing as well was the Allison Kay rematch was very good too. That, I still, like, am kind of amazed at how good that pay-per-view match was. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. It just blew me away. I didn't think it'd be anywhere near that good, and the pay-per-view match was amazing. The TV match obviously is not, it's not the same, but it was still very good. I feel this week NWA didn't do any of the comedy ads or anything. They didn't do any they changed the theme, which I didn't like. I preferred Into the Fire, but it feels like they're slightly taking a different step for season 3. By the way, it's another thing. Do you like the seasons thing? Do you think they should be called seasons even though they 1 month of TV?
Yeah, they don't take any breaks. Usually if there's a season, there's a break in between. They don't take any breaks for their season. So if they took a 1 or 2 week break, I think it'd make more sense. But because they don't, it's just all right, it's a season because it's after the pay-per-view. But no one actually says. They also don't even do a great job of what's the word I'm looking for? They don't tell you that it's really seasons outside of, hey, it's a new season, it's a season premiere, it's a season finale. On their intros, on their titles, it doesn't say NWA Power Season 2 Episode 3 title of the thing. It just says NWA Power Episode 18 title. So if you're just looking at that, you just think it's just one continuous, the longest weekly running episodic NWA Power stream on YouTube.
I like what you did there. You tributed the Fallen Federation. I enjoyed that because, we're paying homage to them this week. The whole show. Are you going to, at the start of the show, did we put a graphic up, RIP? We should have. We should have done that, definitely.
I just hold up a piece of paper. My tech skills are not something to where I would know how to put up a graphic.
But we are live, pal. We are live. I said before, this is a big deal. People are going to come back all year now. Everyone's going to be thinking, man, I can't wait for the next trade deadline. They're going to be watching the finals this year, thinking, maybe this is fun, but who's going to be moving next year? And when are the distraction going to tell me about it?
We're going to have to do a podcast on June. How many days are there in June? 30 days in June, I believe. On June 30th at midnight and do the big free agent frenzy. Although the free agent field this year is not good. Nobody's sticking around.
We definitely shouldn't do that.
No one's sticking around to know where DeMar DeRozan, if he opts in or anything.
Oh, no. Oh, no. James Ennis. James Ennis has left the Sixers, please.
Wait, let's talk about the Sixers. They
They
got 5 guys who can post up and nobody who can shoot. And then they traded for Alec Burks and Glenn Robinson III. You're a Sixers fan, Joe. What's your consensus on this deal?
This has been a really tough week of Sixers fandom. On what day? We're Thursday today? Monday night, I believe it was. Monday night we played a good team. The Heat. We played the Heat. And I hit the wall. I couldn't do it anymore, man. I could not do it. Embiid's shooting threes because Simmons won't shoot him, and then we had 15 post-ups in one possession. It's just awful. We're daring Jimmy Butler to shoot mid-range shots. He's making every one of them. Brett looked upset. Matisse Thybulle was ignoring him. This was dark, man. And then 2 days later, Robert Covington doesn't come home. He doesn't return. He goes to his other home. This has been dark, and I'm not gonna lie. Alec Burks and Robinson, they didn't change it for me, man. I mean, it's cool. I like it. Burks is a pretty good pickup, but it wasn't the momentum shifter I needed. I'm pretty sure this team could get bounced in the first round, and I wouldn't be surprised at this point. They could also win the East, and I'd be like, Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't know at this. I honestly don't know at this point. We've lost 2 games at home, and we've lost like 20 games overall.
They play the Bucks tonight, don't they?
They do. They die against the Bucks tonight, and we end it all. We finish. At the end of tonight's game, we
brought
walk
Al
off.
Horford to Philadelphia, though.
Oh,
the Giannis stopper.
Let's talk about Al Horford. That man betrayed me, Jeremy. And this is why, okay, we're going to get to this. The title, the hips don't lie business, there is no need for this today, on this week of all weeks, okay? People that know about this podcast, so if you're watching this now, I assume you know about it. A couple of weeks ago, I even had on a Al Horford Appreciator shirt, okay? All I'd seen this man do was destroy the Philadelphia 76ers. I don't watch Celtics games unless they're playing us. Why would I? Do you think I'm crazy? I was of the belief he was the greatest centre in the history of basketball. Little did I know that the 13-6 stat line, all this, there's more than the stat line. I'm not even sure it's true anymore, Jeremy. I'm pretty sure he's a spy. Like, he has turned us into last year's Celtics. I don't know what's going on. Can someone help me with this?
Do you think the Celtics sent him to Philadelphia to sabotage the team from the inside?
Yes, 100%. That's what I think is happening. And I think Joel Embiid will be a Miami Heat player next year, and it's making me very, very scared. There's a lot of dangerous stuff going on here, okay? Every interview with Embiid makes me less confident he's going to be a Sixer, It's very bad, and you've got the hips don't lie business going on in the background, You're expecting live performances out of me, and I'm sitting here worried about Al Horford's allegiance. And literally all I wanted, Jeremy, was Robert Covington. That's all I wanted. He wouldn't even made us better. That's the funniest part of it. But I just wanted him. It would have made me happier. But we didn't get that. We got Alec Burks, which probably is a better deal. But that's not what I asked for. So I'm not happy with it.
Robert Covington went to the Rockets so they can play 5 guards at all times.
This rules. This is so good.
This is me in 2K. This is what I do in 2K.
This is why it rules, though. Okay, like, let's be honest. This is the end. Like, D'Antoni and Morey, this is the end of that, right? If they get bounced in the second round, so like, just do it, man. Do not be sitting there in the second round watching Clint Capella sit on the bench thinking we should have just did the small ball thing. Just do it. Just have fun. Let's enjoy ourselves. I imagine they win it with PJ Tucker as the centre. Man, that would be amazing. Covington. So I guess Gordon's the power forward, or Covington is the power forward, right? I guess.
I think the lineup is going to be Westbrook, Harden, Gordon, Covington, Tucker. I think that's going to be their 5, and then they've got Macklemore and Daniel House as well. D'Antoni, he only plays 7 guys in the playoffs anyway, so that's their 7-man rotation. And this is me in 2K. I will take like Ben Simmons and just surround him with shooters and run pick and rolls. That's
a novel idea. That's an interesting idea, Jim. Why don't you tell Elton Brand about that idea? Huh? Why don't you give him that idea? That'd be good. Shooters around an elite playmaker that doesn't shoot. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not frustrated. Carry on.
I mean, that's what the Bucks essentially did with Giannis, and Giannis has actually developed a semi-decent outside shot, but they just put a bunch of shooters around them and is like, just go to work, find open guys, and
do you realise that Simmons leads the league in finding 3-pointers? He leads the league in passes to 3-point shots, and our team has no real shooting whatsoever. Imagine him on a team with actual shooting.
I thought Tobias Harris was supposed to be able to shoot.
He could, and then he joined the Sixers.
Oh,
his percentage on the Clippers. This is not exaggeration. I mean, it's not true because I don't know the stats, but I'm pretty sure his percentage was 41% from 3 when he was on the Clippers, and I think he shot 32% for the Sixers.
Oh, we have a super chat. I don't know how to do this stuff, but Sean is much better than I am. Rob Wilkins,
super chat.
Yeah, somebody actually paid us.
Wow.
For this show. Rob Wilkins. Shout out to Rob Wilkins. Good dude. He made the graphic for our big teaser. I can honestly say I'm watching The Distraction with my pants off. Put some pants on. Granted, the Wiggins trade made my day. We've got to talk about the Andrew Wiggins trade.
See, now that makes it worse. Why am I often hearing about people that are happy with their NBA teams? They've lost 25 games in a row. I know he should be happy. I understand that. Fair enough. I'm happy for you too. But man, I'm worried about Al Horford over here. But yes, we do need to talk about it. This is hilarious. Why? What is happening? Why?
Rob's question is, who is taller, SRS or Bol Bol? I'm legally obligated to say Sean Ross Sapp is taller than Bol Bol.
Yes. Yeah, same answer. Yep. Wiggins is not. I mean, Wiggins isn't good. I don't
Wiggins
think.
is so bad. He kills the Thunder, though. I can't stand him because every single year, they've actually done a good job on him this year. But for the past couple of years, everyone's like, oh, Wiggins is so bad. Wiggins is so bad. And he plays OKC, and then he has like 40. He's hitting like game winners. He's hit 2 game winners against OKC in his career. It's like, I thought this guy was supposed to be bad. He just kills them. And now he's going to go to Golden State, where they have Steph, who kills OKC, and Clay, who kills OKC, and Draymond, who kicks OKC in the nuts. And they're just never going to beat the Thunder. Or they're never going to beat the Warriors.
Yeah, I mean, we should be fair. Like, it's not that he's bad, per se. However, I have no clue why you rush to get Russell out the door. I don't understand this. Why would you do it? Like, in the summer, it could be a totally different landscape. I mean, we're talking about the Sixers we were just talking about. Man, how do you know if they don't get bounced in the first round that Elton doesn't get very scared and starts dealing Ben Simmons? That'd be some craziness. You could have got Ben Simmons for D'Angelo Russell, Jeremy. That'd been crazy.
My whole thing is the Warriors were kind of in a good position. D'Angelo Russell is good. He's a good playmaker. He can create his own
shot. Let's not get
shot.
Carried away, but yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he's fine.
It was an all-star last year.
Yeah, well, he's fine, but
he's good. He's more than fine. Like fine implies like he's just a middle of the pack player.
Yes. No, I mean, look, I'm a Sixers fan. I don't like players that can dribble and shoot, so he's not for me. But he's better than Wiggins. Okay, I'll say that much.
You could have next year. You could have run a lineup with, let's say you get a top 3 pick because the Warriors are in line for a top 3 pick. You draft James Wiseman for your center. You get Draymond, and you run a lineup with Steph, Clay, and D'Angelo Russell. Like, people are worried about 3 guards. OKC is 6th in the West with 3 guards as their best lineup. Yeah,
and the other thing is like, there's like a concern that he can't play off ball, Russell, and it's like, is Wiggins the guy that solves that? Like, really?
Yeah.
He's a ball stopper. Like, I don't know, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't watched the Timberwolves in like 3 months. Maybe I'm missing something, but at his best, I still don't get how he's like a stylistic fit. Unless there was someone, I believe it was you, Jeremy, my co-host, tweeted the funny stuff about like they've replaced Kevin Durant with Wiggins.
Yeah.
Like, do you think there is genuinely like a thought that like he's just going to be an isolation scorer and like when it we'll just give the ball to Wiggins sometimes?
I hope that's what it is, because Durant, I mean, he fit in with the Warriors relatively well, but there was all those times in the playoffs where he's like, give me the ball in the post so I can get my post up. Like, that's what I want out of Wiggins. I want Wiggins on the low block or the mid block and calling for the ball and be like, let me get my touches, guys. I got to get my shots up.
How many months will it take for Draymond Green to say something bad? I know I've not said nothing original. I know everyone's saying that on social media and stuff, but seriously, like, are we saying like December? Is he going to start talking about him? I feel it will be around
December. I think it's going to be before the end of the season.
Wow. Oh, yeah. I didn't even realise. I didn't even think about the fact that for the rest of the season, the team is just Wiggins and Draymond.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow, that's incredible. And they haven't got Alec Burks, any of them. Have they even got any players? What's going on?
They've got Eric Paschall. Everybody's very high on him.
They are. I can't tell you anything. Again, look, I'm not watching the Warriors right now. That's not happening. But it is good fun. The trade is very exciting for Timberwolves fans. I don't know how they've managed it, to be honest, because I remember everyone being like, man, that contract's going to be impossible to get rid of. It wasn't at all, really. They got a pretty good player for it, or in your mind, a very good player for it. So, it's pretty good.
I didn't say very good.
Okay. That's true. You said good and I said fine, right? That was
I'm a big fan of. I tried trading Russell Westbrook for D'Angelo Russell and Julius Randle years ago.
I love how you said that like it was an anecdote from when you was the GM of the team. Like, for a minute there, I felt we were doing a different podcast together, and I was talking to Sam Presti. It was incredible. I tried doing it years ago.
Yeah. No, this is my friend always rips on me for it and is like, that's the dumbest trade. Truthfully, the dumbest trade I tried was even further back was when I traded Russell. I've tried trading Russell Westbrook a lot of times in my Thunder fandom, but it was Russell Westbrook for Ty Lawson and Kenneth Faried from the Denver days. What a disaster that would have turned out to be.
My God. That's incredible. Kenneth Faried isn't on the team right now, right?
No, Ty Lawson isn't either.
No, I was fully aware of that. I just wasn't sure if Faried. Yeah, why don't Houston go back to Faried? I don't get it.
Because he's not good.
Yeah, but I mean, look at their fives at the minute. I mean, he can give like
for Bruno Caboclo.
Yes, my point exactly. It's why don't they not go after Kenneth Reed? Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, look, Wiggins for Russell is a trade between two players I will never ever go out my way to watch, so they can have fun with it. Again, I'm happy for Rob. He give us money. That's very cool. But he should put pants on, definitely. That's out of control. This isn't that sort of podcast. I think we've made that clear by now. This is humorous perhaps, but it is not crass under any circumstances. We don't need that kind of content on here.
We're 10 minutes away from the trade deadline, and things seem kind of... What do you think of the Marcus Morris going to the Clippers?
It's not like to me it isn't a fill in the gap thing. It's just extra firepower, isn't it? Right? It's good. It's a cool deal, but to me they need rim protection, and he's not giving them that. He's just giving them more shooting. But I guess who's been getting minutes for them at the backup four? Is it JaMychal Green, or have they been playing him?
JaMychal Green and Patrick Patterson have kind of been
playing.
So
he just slots in Patterson's spot, right?
He's much better than Patterson, too.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, Patterson, I couldn't believe how well he was playing for them at the start of the season. I didn't think he'd even get minutes, and he was knocking down threes. So Morris is a huge upgrade. I mean, he's having an amazing... Am I right in saying he's shooting 50% from three for the Knicks?
He's shooting very well. Marcus Morris is good. He was good in Boston.
Impossible to like him. It's impossible. You just can't like Marcus Morris. It's the rules of basketball, isn't it?
That's fair. Yeah, that's very fair.
He's like we have Mike Scott, and it's he's Mike Scott. Yes, he's better at basketball, but he's everything you like about Mike Scott taken away. And there's just nothing. There's no fun there. Notification. Yes, it is in fact a confirmed deal. I can confirm, Jeremy. Marcus Morris, done deal.
Incredible. There you go. I broke that story, I believe.
I know, but I was just, I have the final connects on these kind of things. Jerry West just told me it's done.
All right.
Done deal. It's a done deal. Did we cover all the wrestling topics, Jeremy?
We talked about Charlotte. Did you want to talk more about Charlotte? And
no,
really?
No.
Okay.
No, definitely not. I do think it's funny that
Did we pay proper tribute to the Fed? I mean, it's it's dead.
Yeah, but we that can be its own show, right? I mean, when they officially close the network down and sell it to the National Wrestling Alliance, then we can do a live show for it, another live show. In all seriousness, here's something that is interesting. Do you have any actual takes about the network?
Oh wait, Rachel Nichols hit the buzzer. I don't know what that means.
Oh no!
It could be a trade that we already know about, but
oh no, it's probably just Marcus Morris.
She keeps hitting it, but they're not. I can't have the sound on for.
I have no idea what you're talking about. This is on ESPN, correct?
Yeah. Oh, they're going to commercial. Is it the commercial break buzzer now? I thought it was the trade buzzer.
We traded James Ennis away for a second-round pick.
That's a good deal.
Why? Why are we doing that? James Ennis gets 2 offensive rebounds sometimes, and it's well exciting, Why?
Well, Embiid can get those rebounds now.
No, he's out on the 3-point line at all times.
No, I saw the play that they ran where they tried to have 3 guys posting up, and then who was outside? Horford and somebody else were on the outside. I think it was Shake Milton. Yeah, I don't know if Shake Milton can shoot, but they were guarding him like he can shoot.
He can a little bit. He's the kind of guy you just dare to shoot, right? Just please beat us, Shake Milton,
Yeah, the Tobias, Simmons, and Embiid were all calling for post-ups at the same time. Your
first mistake is saying we ran a play. We run no plays, okay? We run no plays. Last year, we had one play, and it was very simple. JJ Redick would run in a circle 4 times, right? And on the 5th time, Embiid would hand it off to him, and he'd shoot a 3. Didn't always make it, but it was a play, okay? When JJ left, I'm pretty sure...
it's a 3-team trade. So it's the Clippers, Knicks, and Wizards. And
why did Jerry not tell me this?
Yeah, Marcus Morris, Isaiah Thomas to the Clippers. Remember him?
Wow, that's actually that's kind of neat, man.
Jerome Robinson to the Wizards, Mo Harkless, and a first-round pick.
Do you know what? If you can steal 12 minutes of Isaiah Thomas playmaking, that's not bad,
Isaiah Thomas can still get buckets.
You see what I'm saying? Defensively, it's a problem, but they've got so many good defenders. Because they are kind of a little bit lacking in obviously, Beverly isn't a traditional point guard, right? So, when Lou Williams comes on, he runs the offense a little bit. But, you can get some minutes out of Isaiah. That's pretty cool, I think. I think that's a good deal.
I liked it. I mean, I picked the Clippers to go to the finals. So
I think they're winning it, to be honest with you.
I'm for this. You don't want to know who I picked to actually win, but
Milwaukee?
no.
Who? Well, I'm confused. Miami?
No, I picked your 76ers, and that's not looking too good for me right now.
Oh, that's very bad.
Yeah.
I think we're looking at my hot take, which isn't hot at all, is that I think we're going to get a Clippers Heat final. That's my take.
Clippers? You think the Heat are coming out of the East?
Yeah, they've convinced me. Because they've got so much shooting, but now that they've got Iguodala, it's like if Hero and Robinson are getting like attacked defensively, the fact that you can just slot in Iguodala that's powerful, man. That's real good. And I just feel like Spoelstra will figure out like all these ways to stop Greek Freak or slow him down. You know, they'll play like a little weird zone and then they'll throw every player at him. I don't know. I just think they're super smart. They're much smarter than us. Much smarter. Like Sixers fans, man, we made fools of ourselves. We all laughed at them. But we actually made fun of them. Like, oh, Jimmy's off to South Beach. Good luck. They've got like 5 more wins than us. I don't know.
The Sixers went the opposite of the Rock. I want to see Sixers and Rockets in the finals. Let's go ultimate big team against ultimate small team.
Dude, if we made it to the finals and lost to that team, it would be like it would be the worst. It would be the worst thing ever. What was we talking about? What was the big wrestling topic? Oh, right, okay. I have a big question for you. Are you do you have any actual interesting takes about this network situation, like the network numbers going down? Because this is kind of interesting. I think it is maybe.
The weird thing about the network is, like, it's a great value. Obviously, you get all this stuff for $9.99 if you haven't heard, and you can sign up and you can get 1 month free or 3 months free or whatever the deal is that they keep trying to throw at you. But now it sounds like they're going to kind of go the UFC route where they have Fight Pass and they do live events on Fight Pass sometimes, but even that's been cut out. But Fight Pass is basically like, hey, here's regional shows, here's karate shows, here's jiu-jitsu shows, and their big pay-per-views and their big shows are now on ESPN Plus. Like, it sounds like that's what WWE is doing.
I totally get that from the revenue point of view. It makes a lot of sense, but part of me thinks they're just like, there's not enough on the network to make normal fans subscribe. Like me, I watch WCW at least 10 hours of every day. Okay, Jeremy? For me, the network is the greatest invention of all time. For a normal person, like, they can easily miss TLC or Fastlane. Like, I just don't see why they'd subscribe. Because that's all it is. Like, if you're getting... So on TV right now, there's 7 hours of WWE TV, correct? It takes a pretty hardcore fan at that end of that 7 hours to be like, man, I need to see the pay-per-view. Most people just wait till Monday. And I don't mean Monday night, I mean Monday morning. Go on Twitter and watch it through GIFs. You know, like, I just don't... It's tough. It's so hard to balance the amount of TV content they produce with getting people to pay for events. Like, it's just not necessary for most people. We actually watch it and, like, sometimes care about it, so it's a bit different, you know?
I think the biggest problem was that they gave away all these free trials trying to entice people to, you know, sign up and join, and then they would hope that maybe they just won't cancel their subscription, and so we'll count them as subscribers, and that didn't really work. And so you're giving away all these, like, you're giving away WrestleMania for free. You're giving away Royal Rumble, SummerSlam. You're giving away those for free. If you want to do the free month stuff on the non-big pay-per-views, that's fine. Like, you can do it then. But to do it for these big pay-per-views, you're not generating anything out of that. Because, like you said, a lot of people, they're not going to care about these TLC shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For WrestleMania, like, that's when you want people to subscribe. That's when you want people to pay money.
I know this doesn't make any sense because the last thing they need is more content, but a part of me thinks they need to, like, figure out a way to make the network its own, like, commodity, in the sense that as a fan of WWE, you could just purely watch stuff that's on the network and survive through that. I feel that would make it more, like, for example, okay, if there was, like, just on a house show weekend, if they televised something and they made it like a concept. So, like, say there was a mixed match challenge aired live on a weekend, And it was just, it had no relevance to the product, right? It was not in, like, it wasn't a part of Raw or SmackDown. But, like, as a network subscriber, it would mean that you get your WWE feel for that month outside of just the pay-per-view. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, just other actual wrestling on there, because a lot of people don't care about, like, Ride Along, which isn't even a good show. I come to that conclusion this week. That's the other thing that made this week sad. Like, I convince myself Ride Along's good every time someone I like is on it, and then it's just not at all any good. It's very sad, None of these shows are actually good, really. Table 3's been ruined. It's like an advertisement now. Like, I don't think them things are really what you need to focus on. I think they need more actual wrestling with the main roster talent on there. Because I don't think Evolve would solve it. I don't think that would, like, skyrocket the numbers,
I'm in agreement, and I thought this is where they were going with the tiered network stuff. Is like, all right, your free stuff, you just get basically what you see on YouTube. You get your current stuff, which kind of stays the same. And then you get your premium stuff, which would not only be like more content, like you get maybe house shows, like you get a house show a week. The San Antonio Spurs have informed DeMar DeRozan he will not, because they can't move DeMar DeRozan. Like, what are they gonna tell him? Hey, we've
tried. Is that
tried.
just came as a scoop?
Yeah, like, that counts as a scoop apparently.
Wow. Okay.
What? And then you do your tiered network, so you get like a house show per week or something. Because, I mean, I don't know if people want to like watch these NXT house shows, but you get some cool debuts on these NXT house shows. Like this is where the new signings show up first, is these NXT live events. And you also, and I think this is why they were talking to all these regional promotions as well. Like, we know they have working relationships with Evolve, with WXW, with Progress. Like, why isn't that stuff on your network as well? Like, Evolve has its own streaming thing. Progress has its own streaming thing, but the events are like 5 days late. I don't know if WXW has any type of streaming service, but like, why isn't that stuff on your network too? Like, you've got to make it a destination for just all things wrestling, and so then you're attracting some independent fans as well. Yeah, and you're still getting your WWE fan base. Like, hey, you can get extra WWE content, and like, I don't mind the personality stuff. I think the WWE 24.
No, it's fun. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, like that stuff I think is good. But you're right. For people like me and you, like, the main stuff I'm watching on the network is like old Raws and old WCWs and the pay-per-views. I'm not
I should actually say, in fairness, you're right. The 24 series is amazing. The 365 series is amazing. That isn't a knock on anyone who, like, the people that make them do a great job. But the issue is it isn't a massive audience that wants to watch them, basically. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how many people would subscribe to watch a documentary, basically. Like, it's brilliant content. I just don't know if that's the place for it, almost. What you said earlier about the Fight Pass and all that business, if they lose major pay-per-views, they have to do things with Evolve and stuff like that, because I have Fight Pass, and one thing that is amazing about Fight Pass, I mean, this is amazing, okay? Like, I think it was, when did the Glory fight happen, the big fight, Butter Hurry fight? It was like late last year, and like, I was like, okay, I want to watch this fight. Where is it on? It was on Fight Pass. I didn't even know it was on Fight Pass, and I'm subscribed. So they would need to kind of get like a real collection of other stuff, like, that would make up for the fact that there's no pay-per-views, and then it would really become a hardcore fans app or subscription service, right? Like, it would be really for like the pure, I can't get enough wrestling, even though there's 400 hours of it on television. So like someone like me,
I don't know. The Fight Pass thing is,
You don't sound pro Fight Pass, Jeremy.
I wanted to like get Fight Pass because I thought they were going to actually do like shows, and they did for a short period of time.
They did.
But then they just, like, they stopped. I remember the Michael Bisping Anderson Silva fight was on Fight Pass, and I'm pretty sure that was like the biggest fight.
I was at that fight, and it was like,
were you?
That was fascinating. We was in the top of the arena, and the reaction when Anderson Silva won the fight but didn't actually win the fight and was on the cage celebrating is one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen. There was like, everyone, like, people started leaving. They was like, oh, Anderson Silva won by knockout, and the referee was like, no, didn't. That was amazing. But that was not as weird as, while we're talking about personal anecdotes, the Michael Bisping Dan Henderson rematch. That fight took place at 5 a.m. UK time, which is one of the most bizarre things I've ever experienced. Like, we was on US time in the UK. That was strange, because that was on pay-per-view, I think.
Yes, it was. Yeah, they do that a lot because they like to keep the pay-per-views still at 10 o'clock, and they don't do like the 3 o'clock pay-per-views anymore like they used to do way back when. So if they do go overseas, the pay-per-views are on at very weird times, which I don't understand.
That's
why
the other
they do
thing.
that.
With the network, I'm stunned there hasn't been a UK pay-per-view. I'm actually quite shocked by this because they've done one in Australia, man.
How
That was
NXT UK takeover?
I'm talking about, I'm talking about a pay-per-view with like, the stars of Raw and SmackDown.
Finn Balor and Cesaro were on these shows.
Yeah, but I didn't watch them, so that doesn't count.
Walter was on this show.
Yeah, I hear people really like what they're doing with Walter as well. That sounds great. Yeah. When was he on Raw? Did I miss this?
He was on when Raw went to the UK that one week, and before Survivor Series, he was there.
This must have been on my hiatus. Was this last Survivor Series, or was this the year before?
No, it was this past one, 2019.
Oh, I think I was watching then. That's even better. That happens a lot, Like, we was talking about something earlier that happened like a month ago, and it felt like years and years had passed. I was recalling earlier about when Nia Jax and Dean Ambrose got involved in a physical confrontation, and I just thought, what a strange industry it is, It's just bizarre. Like, imagine predicting them where Ambrose would be now. He's about to fight Minoru Suzuki live. Are you excited for that?
Ambrose and Suzuki? Yes, 100%.
Mox and Suzuki, Jeremy, have some respect for the brand, please.
Have some respect for what?
It's not Ambrose anymore, dude, okay? You got to respect the new branding. You got to respect it. Moxley. Well, they call him Mox. So go for that. Dean Ambrose is no more, just like the World Wrestling Federation is no more.
I'm paying tribute to the World Wrestling Federation by speaking of one of
its
former biggest stars.
Wow. Is that true? So Ambrose is going to go in the Hall of Fame. The question is, what age will he go in the Hall of Fame, and will he return before that happens?
He won't return. He won't return before it happens. I think AEW is here for the long haul. No deals.
Woj has a scoop. Yes.
Yep. No deals for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I'm devastated. There could have been so much fun. I was hoping Mike Muscala would be moved back to the Sixers.
We're riding this team to the championship, baby.
Look, man. Sure, I'd be more than happy with that. That'd be actually amazing if Chris Paul led that team to the championship. That'd be an all-time great story, right?
100% riding this team to the championship. It looks like that's it. There's going to be no more deadline deals.
That's sad, man. James Ennis was the last headline we had.
It was a good deadline, though. We had Andre Drummond move. We had the Rockets going super small, shrinking Rockets. Andre Iguodala. Wait, can we talk about the Memphis Grizzlies and Ja Morant being the best player in the absolute world with his call out of Iguodala and Steph Curry?
Are you team Grizzlies on this, yeah?
I'm 100% team Grizzlies. I love Ja Morant.
Is this any sort of bias against Golden State out of interest? I don't mind if it is. I just am interested.
No, I like people that are going to talk junk like Ja Morant did. And
the problem is, he's right, but Iguodala got paid another $15 million like 2 days later.
Oh, yeah, it was a huge flex by Iguodala. I don't have an issue with that. But my whole thing is, they traded for Iguodala. Look, Memphis did very well. I'm a big fan of Justice Winslow as well.
Yeah.
I like what Memphis did. Like, they traded for Iguodala because they wanted him to come in and maybe teach the young guys and stuff, and it didn't happen. And then they were hoping to flip him for an asset, and they did just that.
They must be super happy they didn't buy him out. That was a huge win.
Yeah,
win.
I don't begrudge the Morant and Dylan Brooks for calling him out. Like, they thought he was going to be there. Why shouldn't they call him out?
Yeah, and they are in the 8th seed, right?
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to stay in the 8th seed?
Man, it's really tough to doubt because I feel like the top 7 are locked because those teams are like 5-6 games better than the Grizzlies, and it's going to be really tough for the Spurs, like, to doubt the Spurs and the Blazers, to think that the Grizzlies are going to make the team over the Spurs and the Blazers. It doesn't seem feasible. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
The Spurs aren't good. Like,
No.
they have the 2 worst quote unquote stars you could possibly have, And the Blazers, that team is just like, Lillard's awesome, but that team's a mess.
I do think the Blazers will make it. I feel. Do you know what caught me off guard was like when Zion came back? Like all of a sudden everyone was talking about them in the playoffs, and I was like, what?
I never saw that.
There's too many. Like if they were 5 games out and they were 9, it's like, okay, I guess maybe, but like they're 5 games out and there's like 4 teams in between them and 8. Like
that's the thing. Like people can look at the games out and all right, you can. That's one way to look at it. All right, you're 4 or 5 games out. Maybe you can make up that ground. You've got to jump teams as well. So not only do you have to win, those teams have to lose, and they're not going to lose every single game. Like it's a lot easier. Like being 5 games out, like you said, being 5 games out at 9th, okay, that's one thing. Being 5 games out and 13th, that's completely different.
Yeah, and I do like that team. I'm a little surprised they didn't move Drew Holiday, a little bit, because they're kind of guard heavy,
I wonder what kind of offer the Nuggets made for him, because that was the big talk when that 4-team deal went down, is that the Nuggets were trying to load up to make some kind of offer for Holiday, and obviously it didn't happen.
I would like to know how interested they are in Al Horford this summer, please. If they can contact me, Drew Holiday for Al Horford would help us very, very much. All right, so we will sweeten the deal. We are willing to throw in a signed photo of Brett Brown. I will send you. What can we do for the distraction? Maybe like a signed microphone or something. Maybe something like that. And we'll try and get the deal over the line. I'm a little bit disappointed that the last Sixers dealing was just getting rid of James Ennis for nothing whatsoever. That was somewhat sad. I'm going to be honest with you.
Second round pick's going to turn into Draymond.
Yeah. Do you think Draymond's going to get traded in this contract? He's got to, right? It has to happen. I mean, just like it's all well and good, like loyalty, Steph, Clay, Draymond, but at some point they're going to hit. I feel it's going to have to hit a wall.
Where were you with the Draymond talk years ago of this guy's like a top 20 player?
Yeah, see, this is complex. I've seen you tweet about this, but like he is a winning player when he's surrounded by great players. But then that begs the question: is that does that make him top 20? No, because the top 20 player makes a team a winning team, and he clearly doesn't do that. So yeah, no, he's not a top 20 player. He's great on like a player, he was great for that team basically, right? That's what it was, really. Yeah.
I never understood of Draymond is this amazing player. I think Draymond is a good player. D'Angelo Russell's better. He's a fine player. Draymond Green is a fine player.
Yeah.
Who benefited from getting to pass the ball to Steph Curry and Klay Thompson.
Yeah, he's offensively, he's only real. He's a good playmaker on the fast break. But again, is he just sort of made look better by the fact the 2 best shooters in the world were running alongside him? Yeah. I don't know. He's good at it. He's a lot of the time when Sixers fans talk about Ben Simmons, they talk about we kind of need him to be what Draymond was, but it's I feel you
want Ben Simmons to be better than Draymond.
That's it, yeah. Because the whole thing with him is he's like a Swiss Army knife. He can do a little bit of everything. It's I don't know, man. I feel Ben Simmons can be a lot more than just he runs the odd fast break and plays great defense. I think he's doing that already pretty fine. But he doesn't have that that pure ignorance that Draymond has when he would shoot the three. Before last year where he would do it with full confidence, that ruled. Last year it went though, right? He had to look around for 5 seconds and be okay, now I take one.
Yeah. Last year he was definitely looking for an open guy. I mean, he had to play alongside Durant, Steph, and Clay. I'd be looking for the open guy as well.
How do you feel about Westbrook actually becoming Ben Simmons and just saying, I will never ever shoot another 3-pointer? Are you pro this? I like it.
It's very heartbreaking that it took him this long.
Yes.
I legitimately wrote a column 2-3 years ago that essentially put Westbrook on a shot count. So he would get 1 3-pointer per quarter. And if he made that first one, he could take another. But if he didn't make it, that was it. He used up his 3. So it limits him to 4 threes an entire game, or if he made one, he would get more. but then his percentages would be better. So at worst, he's going 0 for 4 from 3,
Yeah.
which is okay. Like that. That's fine.
You can deal with that.
And
carry on.
especially considering the amount of shots he was taking. He's taking like 26 per game, and he was always taking like 6 threes per game and stuff. Like this was my big. When OKC played their best, it was when Westbrook just decided I'm not taking these threes. So I'm glad that he's actually doing this now. But it is heartbreaking that
I
it took him
assume
until now.
like the alternative that you guys like is when he gets to the rim, not like the mid-range. Are you fine with the mid-range shot that he takes, that he likes a lot sometimes, or do you prefer him to just get to the rim?
I was fine with the mid-range shot a few years ago. Last year, it completely abandoned him, and so it was like, all right, stop taking it.
But this is the thing, okay? Like you've experienced a lot of suffering with Russell Westbrook, right?
Yes.
And like I'm a Sixers fan. Too. Yeah, of course. But like in regards to like how he was perceived by the media, it's like, do you not think there's like a clear line of like where he's right and wrong with the way Westbrook used to play and the way Simmons plays now, in the sense of like Russell Westbrook is better when he just takes the shots that he's capable of making. He drives to the rim, pressures defenses, and it's like, is it better to just take bad shots? Like, do you actually earn the opposition's respect by shooting 15% from three? Like, I honestly don't know.
Because this is what the Blazers did to him in the playoffs, as they gave him 15 feet to shoot and said, hey, go for it. And he was so confident. I would much rather... I've had this conversation with my friend before, and we would much rather just have someone like Ben Simmons where you realize your limitations and you actively hurt the team when you just take bad shots like that. Like it's essentially a turnover.
Like Giannis is shooting, I believe he's shooting like over 30% from three this year. Like I think he's respectable this year. And even still, every team wants him to shoot a three. Like this idea that if Ben Simmons walked out and took a three every game, people would be like, get on him, man. Get on him at that 3-point line. Like it's just not happening, right? Like he's always going to be dared to shoot. The same way Westbrook's always dared to shoot. Same thing with Greek Freak. It's like, it is what it is. It's just a matter of whether you want to take the most efficient shot, you know. I mean, we've really dived deep into basketball philosophy with that one, you know. I mean, earlier we were just shouting about James Ennis and stuff, but that was different. That was a different level there we just went into.
The Heat and the Thunder discussed deals for Gallinari, but Miami and Gallinari couldn't agree on an extension because he doesn't want to be there. He wants to be in OKC like everyone else. Miami wants to retain 2021 cap space, offered a 2-year deal with a team option. Gallinari should earn more money by waiting until the summer to sign a deal. This was my suspicions the whole time, is that
sign and trade.
Yeah, OKC would do a sign and trade in the off season with Gallinari, which I'm 100% fine with.
I'm sorry to report that Josh Richardson held a players-only meeting on Wednesday to galvanise the team. And players-only meetings are never, ever good things.
Is that true?
Ever. Yes, that's actually true. It's just come through on my phone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I see the Shams tweet now. Oh boy, yeah. That I'm sure that went well.
Did you see Al Horford's quote about the Sixers like morale? Did you see it?
I saw a lot of quotes of like Simmons or Embiid said they were soft, and Simmons said some stuff. What did
Al
Horford
said?
Say?
We have some stuff going on internally, but I won't talk about that.
Oh yeah, I did see that quote.
Who does that help, Al? Tell me, please. Because you're not telling me about it, so why tell me at all? That's what I would like to know. He's a spy, man. He's a spy. I was fooled. All of this, there's more to it than the stat sheet. It's nonsense. There is no more to it, man. He just shoots 34% from three, and it's just sad. He doesn't even protect the rim for most of the games, man. I've lost faith. Jeremy, I'm defeated in terms of Al Horford. I was all in.
Just wait until he locks down Giannis tonight, and it's completely, that's a wrap. This is what they brought him to Philadelphia for, to lock down Giannis. This is the only reason. They weren't worried about regular season Al. We're going to see the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals, and we're going to need someone to lock down Giannis, and that's why we got Al Horford. Don't worry about it.
But the only problem is that the last time we played the Bucks, he didn't even really guard him.
Giannis is just scared. Giannis is just scared of him. That's what it is.
I don't know. I thought we'd be a better father for our team than JJ Redick, but I was wrong. And I'd like to apologise to JJ while I have the platform. I also just realised we've been podcasting live for 80 minutes. And I feel we did about 25 minutes of professional wrestling talk. Is that higher or lower than our usual percentage, would you say?
That's way lower. We should wrap this thing up. It doesn't look like there's any more trades coming through. So, and I mean, is there anything else wrestling-wise you would like to speak about?
No, I'm just thinking about James Ennis. That's really all I can say. Thank you, James, for all you give us.
James Ennis.
Yeah, man, he gave us a lot of offensive rebounds. He was also one of them players that every once in a while would pull out a play that was so bad it was good fun, Like he'd be on an open layup and just blow it, and it's like, it's fine. He's James Ennis, and we've lost him now. So it's another sad day for a sad week. The Fed died. God bless them. All hail the National Wrestling Alliance. That's all I have to say.
Everyone sign up to FightfulSelect.com. You can get Joe. When's the next feature?
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm going to do one for the Saudi Arabia show. Should I do one?
What are you going to do on Goldberg?
Oh, Goldberg's back.
Yeah.
I forgot about Goldberg. Who is Goldberg going to wrestle? We'll end on that note.
King Corbin.
Yep, probably right. I won't be right about Goldberg, no.
Well, Joe will have a feature at some point, at some time in the future.
At some point, yeah.
And if you sign up to Fightful Select, you can get early access to that. Fightful Select, also some breaking news. There's some exclusive news you're not going to find anywhere else. Extra audio, extra podcast, Sour Graps with Alex Pulowski. Check that out. Check out Fightful.com. We have the AEW Power Rankings are up right now on Fightful. A lot of scoops in there. A lot of fake.
Wow.
Look, I got reactions to the whipping segment with Cody. Cody was not happy that Brandy, Arn, Dustin, and everybody came down. Not happy at all.
They brought his leadership into question, right?
Yes.
That's not good.
Not good. Lot of scoops in there. Real sports scoops from AEW last night, if you want to check that out. Joe, where can they follow you on Twitter?
They can find me on Twitter at Joe Hulbert 5. We know the rules by now. No negative comments, please. Only praise. And I might reply. I do actually have to apologise because I've just realised that I got about 4 topic suggestions that I've totally ignored for the whole podcast. So maybe we'll get to them next week, Jeremy. That's all I can say.
Oh, yeah, we were supposed to talk about Backlash 2018. It was a show. There's your.
And Backlash. I had someone had actual good ideas for concepts for topics, and I just legitimately, this was a week ago, and I just forgot all about him because we just traded James Ennis. So that was it. I was going to bring him up, but let's be honest, we got a lot of dead weeks coming up, I feel.
Oh, speaking of, there's going to be no show next week.
That's a super dead week.
Yeah, I will be on vacation, so Joe can do a solo show.
Joe won't do a solo show. No way. That would be a terrible, terrible hour of audio, man. I need someone to throw the lobs up so I can try and slam them. Like me just trying to run an offense is no good. I'm a spot up shooter too. Let's not forget that. I'm coming off screens, Bellinelli.
Running in circles 4 times, and on the 5th time, I hand you the ball for the shot.
Love you, JJ. I hope you're watching, pal. I know you're not, but I hope you are.
No show next week as I will be gone, so we'll be back in 2 weeks. Hopefully there's no monster news next week that I missed, and really I'm not gonna care because I'm gonna be in Colorado and skiing and watching hockey, so it'll be a good time, at least for me. I had something else I was going to say, and I know what I was going to say. Joe, you owe the people a performance.
I don't. I do have an idea, which is not singing whatsoever. But if people tweet me any interest in this, I will go live next week on the Twitter machine at this time. Okay? So if you love the distraction that much, you can join me on there. And I may sing on there. Okay?
Joe.
There will be no singing, Jeremy. There will be no singing.
Joe.
There will be no singing. Because it sets a dangerous precedent. It sets a dangerous precedent because I tweet many silly things, and if I'm held to them, dangerous stuff happens. There will be no singing. But you may get some singing on a Twitter live. Is Periscope still living? What's Periscope? Is that gone now? I don't know.
You can use Tout.
The Twitter live stream machine will be used, and I may sing. But I will not be singing Shakira under any circumstances at all. Never.
We promised the people.
I promise nothing, okay? I'm not the promoter, I'm just the performer. I told you throw the alley-oops. This one was way off. That one went out of bounds. I'm not doing no singing, especially not Shakira.
We promised the people hips don't lie, Joe.
I promise nothing, okay? We did talk about the Fed dying. and whatever other the headline was. And we talked about the NBA for like 2 hours. That's all they're getting this week, Jeremy, okay? I'm sorry, I know I've let everyone down, but it's the way it is, man. I'm not a live performer, you know. I'm not there yet. This was a live show, but it weren't no live performance. I can tell you that much.
I bent over backwards to give you this live show on trade deadline day.
When Woj starts singing on a deadline day, I will sing, okay?
Well,
it's not
singing
happening
right now on ESPN.
I'm here as a journalist, okay?
He's singing Taylor Swift's Bad Blood. I will sing Taylor Swift's Bad Blood.
I'm more likely to sing Taylor Swift than I am Shakira.
Do you want to sing a Taylor Swift song with me?
Not now. No, I need to prepare for it. Because I'm not about to you can't just pull a Taylor Swift. I'm like, okay, I've got it. I know where I'm going.
Bad Blood. Used to be Mad Love. Go, Joe.
No,
take a look what you've got.
No, this has got way out of control now. No, you need to give me a week of prep for Taylor Swift talk. We'll talk about Taylor Swift in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
We'll do an hour of Taylor Swift talk. I'll do research, extensive research.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll be back in 2 weeks with a new show, and we're going to talk about Taylor Swift for 2 hours, apparently.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll talk to you then.